At present, almost all the hospitals are filled with patients who are having these symptoms. So it is the need of the hour. Particularly, this air quality improve the quality of the water also, because every city is having one or two rivers nearby, and to provide the drinking water to the citizens of the urban areas. So government also using the reservoirs beside the city. So the automobile smoke or chemical smoke or whatever the pollutants in the air affecting the water bodies. Particularly when the first rain comes, we treat this as acid rain. These chemicals falling into the water bodies, and through water, the drinking water, it is entering into the human bodies. So everyone should focus on the pollutants, and to improve the air quality. For that, the City University of New York providing the instruments, equipments in different cities of India. Thanks to them, because our government, and particularly Telangana government or any government of the India, at present not focusing on these air quality management or getting the data. Pollution control boards are there, but they are not doing as per the expectations of the citizens. So, I am appreciating the initiatives of Paramita Sen and Dean Philip, and also the management of the City University of New York and Dr. Sneha Dunde, who coordinated this activity in entire country, particularly in Hyderabad. Because of her, I am here now. So, thanks to all the participants and the organizers for focusing on this issue, and in coming days, definitely everyone will get the knowledge through these air quality data management, and they will influence the governments to take up certain measures to close the industries which are spreading the chemical pollution in the air and as well as in the water. So, thank you very much for giving this opportunity to me, and we are focusing mainly on river rejuvenation work. So, in next occasion, I will speak on that, because the time is very important. Already the conference was started very late. Thank you for inviting me and giving this opportunity. Thank you, Paramita Sen and Sneha. 650 chemical and polluted industries are located in and around Hyderabad. Most of them are pharma industries and other chemical industries. So, a lot of smell is in the air. People are suffering a lot. If anyone comes to Hyderabad after conference, you can visit the hospitals. In every hospital, almost 80% of the patients are suffering with flu and fever and lung infections. Particularly this time, since 15 days, Hyderabad people are suffering. Every house is having a one patient of lung infection or suffering with flu, dry cough, nausea, and headache, swelling in the eyes. All these hazardous chemicals and pollutants affecting their lungs and their health. At present, almost all the hospitals are filled with patients who are having these symptoms. So it is the need of the hour. Particularly, this air quality improve the quality of the water also, because every city is having one or two rivers nearby, and to provide the drinking water to the citizens of the urban areas. So government also using the reservoirs beside the city. So the automobile smoke or chemical smoke or whatever the pollutants in the air affecting the water bodies. Particularly when the first rain comes, we treat this as acid rain. These chemicals falling into the water bodies, and through water, the drinking water, it is entering into the human bodies. So everyone should focus on the pollutants, and to improve the air quality. For that, the City University of New York, providing the instruments, equipments in different cities of India, thanks to them, because our government and particularly Telangana government or any government of the India, at present not focusing on the air quality management or getting the data. Pollution control boards are there, but they are not doing as per the expectations of the citizens. So, I am appreciating the initiatives of Paramita Sen and Dean Philip, and also the management of the City University of New York and Dr. Sneha Dunde, who coordinated this.
Prakash sir, can you please unmute yourself? We are waiting for your address, sir.
Someone can phone it. मैसेज में फोन करो. No, it's not music.
No, Acha, no. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Thanks to the City University of New York for conducting this event, and respected chief guest and Paramita Sen, Neil Philip, and Dr. Sneha Dunde, and each and every participant of this August gathering. Good morning, everyone. And thanks to Thakur College of Science and Commerce, Mumbai, for hosting this event. So it is the need of the hour because pollution is everywhere in the air in India, particularly in the metro cities. Before going to deliver my lecture, just let me introduce myself. I am the chairman of, my name is Prakash Rao. I am the chairman of Telangana Water Resources Development Corporation, as well as I am the chairman of Indian Peninsula River Basin Council. It was started 2 years ago under the leadership of Dr. Rajendra Singh, Waterman of India. Maybe few of you may not know him because he rejuvenated 12 rivers in India. So we are working on river rejuvenation as well as climate change. So Paramita Sen and Neil Philip, Dr. Sneha Dunde came to Hyderabad in the month of December and installed 3 weather stations. One is at JNTU, Jawaharlal Nehru Technology University. It is government university, and one is private university, that is Anurag University, and the third one is Meridian School in the heart of the Hyderabad. These 3 are in different locations of Hyderabad. One is west, one is east, and one is in the middle. So with these 3 weather stations, we can able to gather the air quality data and
Small change, as we do a small change of planting one tree. I'm sure all of you have planted one tree on this earth. Yes, we have done more than that. So that's what we are today for. Thank you.
On behalf of Land of India, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to UNWTO for giving us this opportunity to share this message of sustainability on a larger scale, especially in this very special year where this year is being celebrated as the year of sustainable tourism. My heartfelt gratitude to His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, founder of ISKCON, His Holiness Radhanath Swami, who is the founder of the Govardhan Eco Village, Sanat Kumar Prabhu, who is heading the Rural Development Program at the Govardhan Eco Village, the community of devotees of ISKCON worldwide for their support.
A crisis in what we consider is actually meaningful and fulfilling in our life. Ranaswamy is a passionate person. The best passion is compassion, and he has an ample amount of that. And that type of passion is contagious.
Coming here and helping to doing the save of the service, helping with the cows, helping with to weed mats, helping with make pottery. It's actually fun. It's very simple lifestyle, and I think a lot of us crave that on different levels.
And it's sort of programmed into our culture that you look for recognition, you need it. For me being here, I see it's far more powerful to be humble.
It was easy to complain about the tiny inconveniences that come with a New York City apartment. Oh, it's not big enough. Oh, the water pressure isn't great enough. When you live in a house that you see built from the ground up, every step along the way is very special.
When people come here, we're trying to inspire an educational, experiential alternative of a fulfilling, meaningful, sustainable, healthy life.
Apart from these jasmine flowers which you see, he grows a lot of his ladyfingers, okra. Yeah? So we network with all these farmers so that we purchase them in our kitchen and use them.
And we get these to the kitchen and we can give them to
And the inspiration of this project, Srila Prabhupada, he called this transformation simple living and high thinking.
We get 3,000 millimeters of rain annually. So the rainwater hits against those mountains, the Sahyadri mountain ranges, and flows down and collects here. And it is sufficient water for us to irrigate our fields for up to 6 to 7 months every year. The majority of India's population, which is 1.2 billion, lives in the villages. So one of the very important requirements to develop a village is how can water be conserved.
The process begins here. As you can see, the raw sewage is falling and there are some screens. The first chamber is called screen chamber, where we are trying to separate floating solids. This is the raw water where we began, and this is the treated water.
The uniqueness of this place comes from the fact that every waste is becoming a precious resource. That cow dung becomes a fertilizer for earth. He needs fire or energy for cooking his food, and therefore all of the cow dung we utilize for biogas plant. We need to make houses, so we use the same earth, and we have created 250,000 bricks. We call this a symbiotic recycling model. Flushing your toilet, you are contributing to the growth of a papaya. You are contributing to the growth of flowers. The effort in 2017, UN established a new vertical known as UN Faith for Earth, which was quite unique. Why? Because science and philosophy and religion seem to be at polar opposites. But UN reached out to religious leaders across the whole world and said, we want you to join hands with UN to fight climate change. And they have created this vertical called Faith for Earth, where they are reaching out to the faith leaders and saying that with all the data and various analysis, we are unable to create transformation in people's behaviors and habits. And people continue to live life which is very contrary to nature. And therefore, we have to create a transformation in the consumeristic lifestyle and create restraint and discipline in people's lives. And so, in 2020, they appointed around 100 faith leaders across the world as faith counselors, United Nations Faith for Earth counselors. So in 2020, I have also been appointed as a United Nations Faith for Earth counselor, and I'm standing here in that capacity, that along with all the other things which we do, we also try to share the message of climate change mitigation. And therefore, this conference is very important and very crucial. And I must say that with almost a population of 30 crores of students in India, 27 crore in the K to 12, and 3 crore in the college systems across India, climate change is still not such a crucial, impactful topic amongst the youth in India. And Dr. Chakravarti and others would agree to this fact that it is still not right there. Because when I was studying in IIT Mumbai, when I was in my last year, that's where I kind of realized that there is something more than just moving forward in academics and going the regular style. Because one of my friends tried to commit suicide. And when I asked him why you tried to commit suicide, he said, I was always getting the gold medal in my classes. But in this exam, I got the silver medal, I couldn't handle it. Then I said, well, so many students are dying to get inside IIT, you are inside IIT trying to die? Doesn't make sense. So, expectation and reality, and the gap between expectation and reality creates stress. In the same college, in the same exam, 4 or 5 of my other friends, they failed in the same exam in 4 or 5 subjects, but they were moving around the campus peacefully, blissfully, as if nothing happened, blessing others. So I looked at them and said, hey, this is totally weird. Here is someone who got a silver medal trying to kill himself, and you guys have failed in 4 or 5 subjects, you are moving around peacefully. What's going on? And they said, our philosophy in life is very simple. College में घुसना अपना काम है, निकालना college का काम है.
In the City College of New York, the Indian Peninsula River Basin Council, and the esteemed organizers and all the participants in today's important discussion. Though climate change is a global phenomenon, it is experienced locally. Whether it is floods in California, rising sea levels, land erosion, and flooding in coastal cities like Mumbai, the consequences of climate change affect millions of people every day. Barring quick and decisive action globally, we can expect increasingly dire consequences in the future. As climate change worsens, extreme weather, famine, and disease threaten unimaginable suffering for millions around the world, with nations and communities with the least resources likely to suffer the most. The Biden administration has made fighting climate change a top priority for the United States, and we are committed to cutting our emissions in half by 2030, reaching 100% clean electricity by 2035, and achieving net zero emissions by 2050. At COP27, President Biden took major new steps under his Emergency Plan for Adaptation and Resilience, or PREPARE, which aims to help more than 500 million people in developing countries adapt to and manage the impacts of climate change. The government of India has also pledged to reduce emissions by 45% by 2030 and achieve the target of net zero carbon emissions by 2070. And the United States welcomes the opportunity to work with India in achieving its COP26 targets. Through collaborative efforts between our governments, the private sector, civil society, and academic institutions, the US and India are finding innovative ways to address the climate crisis. For example, through the US-India Strategic Clean Energy Partnership, our 2 countries have reiterated our commitment to accelerating a just and sustainable energy transition. US and Indian companies can also lead the way through capitalizing on our successful bilateral partnership. As a sign of that commitment, last year we launched the US-India Climate Action and Finance Mobilization Dialogue to unlock the capital necessary to finance clean energy innovation and development. The US International Development Finance Corporation has committed over $1 billion for renewable projects around India. These include a $500 million loan to First Solar for a solar panel manufacturing facility, and a risk-sharing guarantee agreement with the New York-based Encourage Capital and 2 Indian financial companies that mobilizes $41 million in financing for Indian micro, small, and medium enterprises investing in rooftop solar installations. The Development Finance Corporation has an estimated $600 million of additional renewable energy projects in the pipeline. And universities in the United States, India, and around the world also play an outsized role in combating climate change. Universities like CUNY in the United States are conducting groundbreaking research to understand and mitigate the effects of climate change. And they're working with governments and the private sector on creative solutions for climate resiliency. Our colleagues at the U.S. Consulate General in Hyderabad are working with Professor Phillips and Professor Sen on the CUNY India Climate Collaborative to install 6 weather stations in Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana.
And the surrounding environment, which is why we've been working closely with Neil and the Bronx and City University of New York. And so basically putting low-cost sensors across the city and our waterways around our buildings, and learning to get near real-time data on these things so that we can develop predictive algorithms. And from a climate change perspective, besides working in the social dimensions and cognitive psychology, we're really working on building living soils and reactivating soils and waterways as a way of healing the Western culture of our city. So that's Council. Thank you.
Thank you.
After completed my MBBS, and then got selected into Indian Revenue Service after passing UPSC examination. I was posted in the Enforcement Directorate, Mumbai. Do you know that? Ye suna tho, naam to suna hi hoga. And then in 2017, one farmer from my own village committed suicide. And then I realized that something has to be given back to the society from where I came. And we started one project, Mission 500 crore liters water reservoir from village Damangaon in Chalisgaon Tehsil. So far, we have reached up to 70 villages and created a surface water reservoir of 450 crore liters, 4.5 billion liters of water. How much is this? It is sufficient to take care of 2 seasons, crop seasons in the village. Wherever a 10 crore liter surface reservoir is created in a village, that village can assure that Kharif crop, the monsoon crop will be there, and the villagers will be able to take a second crop, that is the Rabi crop. If 2 crops are possible in village, then income level of the farmers immediately get double. If the employment which is previously available only for 3 to 4 months, it gets available for 6 to 7 months in a year, and then remaining 3-4 months they can manage with the wedding season and all small things. So this project we are doing since last 5 years. So you will be thinking that why I am here in the conference of climate change. Okay, good. How is it relevant from the perspective of climate change? It is better, I think. Okay. Basically, this water conservation project is a river rejuvenation project. How? If we create small check dams in the territory of 1000 hectares of village territory, these check dams, this storage capacity created on the surface, they allow water to get percolated and recharge the groundwater level. By the month of July or August, we are able to have groundwater level wherein farmers can literally fill their buckets by hands from their wells. Literally, that is the level achieved. And when that is the level of groundwater level, then the streams of the rivers and rivulets, they recharge and they slowly start discharging the clear water in the rivers. The river otherwise, which used to have a surface runoff of 60%. Whatever rainfall we are having in our area, we are having a rainfall around 600 to 800 millimeters in average. In drought year, we get 300 millimeters of rainfall. Then we declare the drought year, and Anivari is 25%. 2015 and 16, these are two drought years where we had morchas, Maratha Morcha in Maharashtra, Jat Morchas, then Patel Morchas in Gujarat, because that were the years of great agrarian crisis in India. When this clear water flows, the rivers get rejuvenated, that is river rejuvenation program, and when the river is flowing for 8-9 months, then the greenery along the banks of the river get
पशुधन बच्चे सब कुछ इसी पानी पर निर्भर रहते हैं। देश की आर्थिक राजधानी मुंबई, इस मुंबई से केवल 300 किलोमीटर की दूरी पर है जलगांव जिले का 40 गांव तक। गर्मियों में 43 डिग्री तापमान और बारिश में मुश्किल से 300 से 600 मिलीमीटर बारिश। इस बारिश के आधार पर किसान किसी तरह 3 महीनों तक खेती कर लेता है। खेती का एक सीजन पूरा होने के
the Ministry of Social Solidarity and Supervisor on Care and Social Development in several international organizations such as UNICEF, WFP, Save the Children organization, and advisor in some of the government ministries such as Ministries of Supplies, Internal Trade, Head of Cultural Development and Fund Management Committee. Dr. Randa, we are glad to have you with us today this afternoon. We would love to listen to you. Dr. Randa, please take up the session. Thank you.
Practice and the policies and enhance awareness of the universities and social responsibility. Each member university demonstrated and highlighting their community to SR by SR is the prevention for social responsibility by showcasing this SR motivated other universities outside of the network to strengthen their SR initiatives. And some models for implementation of CSR goes beyond compliance and engage in action that appeal to some social goods and services beyond to the interest of the firm in which the law mandates its CSR aims to embrace responsibility for corporate action and to encourage a positive impact on the environment, stakeholders including consumer, employees, and investors. Universities' capacity development on SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, raise the role of the universities in social responsibility not only in local communities but also in the global. Identify QS and USR strategies and progress. Organization effective meeting with Secretary General of Arab Universities. Develop CSR report according to the QS or THE 2023 ranking requirements. Provide joint programs with extension QS ranking universities. The role and impact of the universities. Universities around the globe have committed to implement sustainable development through research, teaching, and learning outreach. And campus operations, these areas of activities are reflected the international and the national and organizational sustainable development policies for higher education. The important role.
One of the richest mineral resources. So we have 4 or 5 cities. If it's like, you will see actually the minerals being excavated, the amount of carbon intensity and the particulate matter. So again the concern is for some of the critical districts as far as carbon is concerned. So even if we have an yellow, we have a green cover definitely, but there are challenges there. So these two slides sum up the definition of scientific, explanation of vulnerability as far as climate change is concerned, what we are facing. Coming to next. So quickly, is there a framework and is it enough? Is what the message I want to give today quickly. There are 2 reports. The state has scientifically measured, itself from climate change perspective and vulnerability. There are mechanisms in place. Post super cyclone, we have a system called a zero human loss, and it is one of the best cases that how rehabilitation happens. And if you go to Gram Panchayat level also, Sarpanch would know what climate 13, and SDG 13 is. Everybody is sensitized. Whether it is enough or not at this stage, too early to say. But as a teacher, I come back to what we have been doing. Though Jesuit universities are for centuries, and in India it was there from in Bhubaneswar from 1987. But my school is very young, 2015. So we have just started. Some very interesting results that we have got. One is the Chilka Basin. Odisha is more than 10 Ramsar sites are there. Last year 3 more were added. So the Chilika, which is a Ramsar site, so phytoplankton health, which predicts the climate change impact. Students with faculty support are working on that. Air pollution related, Mahanadi is the biggest river flowing there. Madam, we would like to collaborate with you, such wonderful work that you are doing. So Mahanadi estuary, water quality, index is something. And we believe as a teacher, if you are a sustainability teacher, the model that we use there is hand, heart, head and habit. So when a student through curriculum is impacted all, so you need scientific analysis, you need empathy to understand the problems, you need to bring it into your habits and to leave a habitual imprint on that. And the last one is hand. We have to, so that's the model. And I'm so very happy at the end that Neil and Paramita came to our campus, because after they left, I saw students what to do with this. They had got a nice toy and what to do with this. So I'm very happy. February 1st and 2nd we are calling experts for a curriculum review, so that and this will be forming a core thing, that what can students do, how they can learn by what they have given us. Thank you so much. God bless you. Please come to Odisha.
And you may be wondering, what is this guy doing up here in a climate change conference talking about pollution? Well, where does most of the pollution come from? In the case of Mumbai, a lot of it is coming from vehicles and fossil fuels, really. And guess what? If you deal with the fossil fuels, you deal with the carbon problem. If you're worried about temperatures going up, how do you handle that in the city? You plant a bunch of trees. You get shade, you get transpiration, you get evaporative cooling, but you also lock up a lot of carbon. So if you want to talk to people about climate change, maybe they're not that interested. Talk about local climate change. If you deal with the local problems, the global problems will come along automatically. So here's a picture of Mumbai. I think we're all familiar with this look by now. And Mumbai has a wonderful system of air monitors. And you can see this great big billboard showing the particulate matter and the gases and things like that. I haven't seen that anywhere else. However, they're pretty much scattered around. If you're looking for sources and what is causing the pollution, this, wonderful as it is, it's not really going to get you where you want to be. So to investigate sources, you have to get very local. So what we planned is, we said, well, let's compare 2 neighborhoods. Let's compare the middle-class neighborhood of Santa Cruz, and we also have the famous Dharavi. 2 very different neighborhoods. How are the pollutants going to differ between these? Now, on Santa Cruz, we have it lined up so that this is really, so we can get an overview of everything going on here. We can compare it to satellite data. With Dharavi, there's such a drastic change between inside and outside. We wanted to do transects and see what's happening as you go through Dharavi. So what are we actually measuring? Well, we have a couple of instrument packages here. Some of you may be familiar with this. I'm not sure if it's made its way to India yet, but this is created for educational uses. And the LabQuest will give you real-time feedback about, in this case, of temperature, relative humidity, carbon dioxide, and most crucially, GPS data, latitude and longitude. So you can see it happening. Of course, we're interested in air pollution. So we had to come up with a monitor. Now there are some simple air pollution monitors out there, but we wanted to go a little bit beyond that. And there were some new sensors for measuring particulate matter. So we put together this package. And we wanted something to be relatively low cost and yet measure everything that we wanted. So this was 6 months before we came to India. We could put this together. The company that did it, headquartered in New York, but most of its workers are actually in India. So it was designed and largely assembled in India, but there were supply issues with the war in Ukraine, with COVID, things like that. So these things, part of them arrived at my house a few hours before the flight left. CEO of the company actually drove me to the airport because his job was to make sure these things got to India. We showed up in India and several of the people from India showed up and they were in the hotel room, in the hotel next to us, actually putting it together. They stayed up the entire night putting the things together. And then we got them in our hands for the first time. We had to start taking data. So it was kind of a sudden introduction, and it was a little bit rough, but by now I think we've figured things out, and we are getting some good data. So let's see what we get. Now in Santa Cruz, it's a little bit hard to see, but the red is where there's high pollution, and blue is where there's low pollution. So this is a nice little wooded neighborhood going along here. This is where things get busy, it's kind of a market area and so on. This is Dharavi. And interestingly, most of the pollution is like the entry point into Dharavi and going around it. Inside Dharavi, you can't drive a car through a slum that easily. The traffic is actually lower inside Dharavi than outside. So unless you're walking by, you're going to see a few hot spots. Sometimes there's burning. It kind of drops off inside Dharavi, the particulate matter. We also did some art I haven't shown where we're comparing main streets to neighborhood streets. So this is different sizes of particulate matter going from, I've converted it into volumes rather than counts. If it was counts, then we would see basically you have a whole lot of small particles falling down, but if I multiplied it by volume here, we see that the main streets have more of the PM 2.5. And people are studying air pollution, this stands for micrometer size. Micrometer diameter is 2.5 microns. That's really the most dangerous part. So we do have more of it in main streets. And we can see that the larger particles are being more lofted in the main streets than in the small streets. In the small streets, we're seeing more of the fine particles. Okay? And I don't want to get in the way of our students here, so I'm just going to end it here with, we are collecting air pollution data at a fine spatial scale. This really is not done very often. And because of the limitations of sensors, we're collecting about every 50 meters at about the length of this room, and collect at the beginning, collect at the end here. And from this we can get some ideas about sources and dispersion. The student interns here are being introduced to data collection and handling. We don't have time to do analysis because we're so busy collecting the data. They are still going to show you some very brief analysis just like I have. So we don't have anything in depth yet. But we get them for another semester. They will be working with us to analyze this data. And finally, we're kind of still in the shakeout period. We think we have the instruments figured out now after about a week. And we are definitely getting some good data coming in. And we are going to be back for the next 2 years to fill it in. So if you want to be involved with this, to collaborate, let us know. We'd love to work with students in the local universities.
We can do it.
Which is
is a part of the CUNY system, and today I'll be talking to you guys about what urban heat island effect is and the project that I'm a part of called Heat Island Resiliency Project. So first, I'd like to explain exactly what the effect is. Basically, it's when central city areas are significantly higher temperatures than surrounding rural areas and suburban areas. This is due to a few factors, including concrete buildings, asphalt roads, lack of green space, high population density, and pollution. The asphalt roads and concrete buildings trap heat in cities, and green space would help combat this effect by providing shade and breeze, as well as a process called evapotranspiration, which allows for heat to be absorbed and uses and also evaporates water. However, in these cities, there is a lack of green spaces, which prohibits this process from happening. Furthermore, pollution and buildings restrict airflow and create smog, only making the problem worse. Another big issue that is making the problem worse is climate change, and this means that it's happening all over the world. As you can see in the first graph, there has been a new study done in like the last year or so by Columbia, and it's been found that the number of days in which people have been exposed to extreme combinations of heat and humidity has tripled since the 1980s in 13,000 cities. This is nearly a quarter of the world's population, so this is obviously a very big climate change issue. And this is due to both rising temperatures and a rise in population growth. And on the second graph, you can see in which areas, which factor is contributing more to the increase in exposure. And you can see India is a very, very big hotspot, and this is mostly due to either 100% more.
Sagrado Corazon in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And here we study a community called El Caño Martin Peña. This community is on the city center, or more the outskirts, near a canal which connects the San Jose Lagoon to the San Juan Bay. This means that there's a lot of water coming through this area whenever there's rain or whenever there's a hurricane. This is a problem for the community because they're at surface level with the canal. So it was becoming a major problem for the flooding events that has happened, and because of climate change, this problem is getting worse and is getting exacerbated. It is getting exacerbated by the amount of hurricanes or extreme weather events that are occurring. And this is also a sustainable development goal problem because goal number 6 is sanitation and available water for all, and this is also comprised of the poverty that happens in this neighborhood. So our test, or our hope, was to identify what type of pathogenic bacteria live in the canal and how we can see the exposure and how it affects community. So first, we found a location site which is right next to the edge of the bank. You can see, I hope that you can see that there's a house right on the canal that sits next to it. And we also saw that there's a CSO drain, a combined sewer overflow drain. This is very common in areas like this because they're non-standardized housings. They don't have proper infrastructure for the water and stormwater that comes through the neighborhood every day. So we tested on the edge of the houses, and we first isolated the first sample for 3 hours in ice so we can incubate later by using a media called Entralert. Entralert was then, the Entralert media mix was then incubated for 24 hours so the bacteria could propagate inside. This is standard in the literature as well. So we then used a quantity tray to analyze the concentration of the bacteria that were inside. We did find, after filtering, that there was positive, gram-negative stains, which means that the Enterococcus is present, and there's also E. coli present, as you can see by the red dots. We try to find the concentration of these bacteria by analyzing the quantity tray results. This meant that we saw that there was about 4,106 colony-forming units per 100 milliliters for the Enterococcus, and about 2,419 for the E. coli. For the Enterococcus, this is alarming because the United States Environmental Protection Agency sets the limit 100 times lower than that. And for E. coli, the canal exceeded the concentration by 34%. 34%, yes. So this means that every time it rains or exposed to this water in their houses, or whenever there's going to be a major hurricane event like there was this past November, this will be inside their homes and damage their property as well. So they are very much exposed to the risks that lie within the E. coli and Enterococcus or intestinal bacteria exposure. I can't talk about this research without mentioning the project or sponsor, Puerto Enlace. This in Spanish means the link project. This combines the community leaders to help the how to properly use their water, because this is a provisional service. They have to use the water again. So seeing that this water is very dangerous, our data can help them understand why this water is so dangerous and why we can't use it for, let's say, bathing or using it for drying clothes. So this also helps us advocate for the infrastructure projects that will go on Puerto Rico. Currently, there was success.
Divide our topic into three parts. That is, what are the causes for air pollution, what is the impact of air pollution on different sectors, and finally the most important and the interesting topic of the day, that is how we need to reduce the air pollution. So till now most of the talented people as well as elder people spoke about different things on different sectors. And basically when we know about the basics well, we can grab the towers as fast as possible.
So source apportionment is something, a task that I am willing to do, and particle number size distribution is the data that I am using it to do. Let's get into the depth of what source apportionment actually means and why it is necessary. So source apportionment is basically a tool that measures and analyzes air pollution data to give you finally the identity, number of sources and the extent of pollution from each of the sources. So the given right side figure is the given right hand side figure is the pictorial representation of the same. So this is the conventional method by which they do the process of source apportionment. So after they collect the samples from air for a duration of 1 day or more, they segregate into solid particles and the water. The water is evaporated off, and the solids are then characterized using component analysis, and a signature is created for each of the sources. So the source A, B, C, and D each have a signature profile of chemicals in them.
ये वाले लाइट बंद करो ताकि वो ठीक से दिखाई दे.
So yeah, each of them have a signature profile. For example, the profiles could contain the levels of CO2, nitrogen or phosphorus in each source. And using that signature profile, we can then classify as how much each of the sources is contributing towards the final air pollution at the receptor location. Yeah, so what motivates me to come up with an innovative approach is that the conventional method is slow. It requires laboratory equipment and chemical analysis, that is the component analysis. And then it is non-scalable, as in if you move from one location to another, you'll have to redo the entire process of component analysis to establish the signature from the starting. My method that I propose is a statistical approach based on particle number size distribution data, which I'll describe below. This method is faster.
Revolutionizing air transportation systems to prepare for resilient electrified aeronautical industry. So I'm going to be asking the question, how can we modify aviation systems to create a sustainable infrastructure that accommodates commercial electric aircraft and works to minimize the causes of climate change? So what started as a group presentation in a writing for engineering class clearly became something more. We had to do a proposal on an electric plane, which we thought would be a solution to climate change in the aeronautical industry. So why should we care about the pollution caused by this industry? Aviation currently contributes to around 2.5% of global carbon emissions. However, due to high-flying aircraft, the biggest pollution concern is actually due to other gases like nitrous oxide and contrails that get trapped in the upper atmospheres. And actually, that triples the emission, like it triples the effects on climate change for that industry alone. And current solutions, like low carbon emission fuels, still produce these extra gases like nitrous oxide. So our solution in our proposal project was to create a commercial plane that functions solely on renewable energy. So an entirely electrical plane, completely powered by electric power, would be setting a precedent for current aviation systems. And it will remove energy and use of fossil fuels from the aviation industry while maximizing the costs and minimizing the environmental impact of the industry in the long term. However, an electric plane cannot just be the solution on its own. We as a society are unprepared to completely adopt such a solution because we have inefficient systems of airports and energy right now. So we would have to create methods of sustainably actually providing all of this energy to power these electric planes and to power these airport systems on their own. So what does that account for? We have to account for efficient manufacturability so that we can create this sustainable and resilient future. So we have to maximize the efficiency of the product while minimizing the costs to make it actually commercial. We have to create easy assembly methods which will allow for maintenance of the product, and we have to create readily accessible servicing methods as well so that the lifetime of the product, it won't degrade and therefore causing more waste.
So, for introduction, in this afternoon, my team and me are going to show you a little bit about the contamination at micro-level scale at Mumbai in India, which is the work that we have been doing during the last weeks with the Professor Paramita and Professor Philip and Professor Brian Rampal.
Don't worry.
I traumatized them so much, they were already blocking it.
Yes. Yes, please go ahead.
So at the present, through the cooperation with various agencies and institutions from both countries, United States and India, from New York City and CUNY professors, they have installed several water stations in different parts of the world, as we mentioned, they mentioned before, in Mallorca, Spain, in Australia, Long Island, New York, and here in India. We hope that with the connections and the help with another agencies and university, they still and the student from CUNY help and install more water stations around the world.
Thanks to me, right? You're taking your own credit.
Air pollutants are chemicals that can result from coal, crude oil and gas substances when they are burned. Main pollutants in India are carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, and ground level ozone. There's another main pollutant that is PM 2.5. So PM 2.5 is particulate matter that is 2.5 micrometers or smaller. It is mostly to blame for Mumbai's high rate of pollution in the air. It comes from vehicular and industrial emissions. Particulate matter is a fine particle that it is made of dust, dirt, and soil. In fact, this will affect Indian population health over time of exposure.
So my colleagues have already gone through what the equipment was, but I'm going to give you guys like a recap. Basically, we have the LabQuest, which measures the temperature, the humidity, and the carbon dioxide. We also have the white box, which kind of collects all the pollutants, including SO2, O3, NO2, PM 2.5, PM 0, PM 10, which are those devices over there. Hopefully, with these, we collect. These are the pollutants that we collect. So, for example, we got carbon dioxide. Okay. Before the next slide starts, I want to just say something about our program and why I think it's kind of special. And that's because I feel like there's been data collected on air pollution already. So why are we doing this? What makes this one different? And in my opinion, what makes this program kind of beautiful and special is the fact that it's on a micro scale. Usually the data that is collected is on a macro scale level, and then what we do with those is that we have the macro level data and then we apply it to a micro scale or local, and then we come up with some sort of conclusion, which is like an educated guess. Whereas with this one, what we're doing here is that we walk the walk every minute. We're doing a technical analysis where we collect data, and on the other side we try to take notes of the neighborhoods and find out why each place is specifically polluted and how we can solve it. So far we've done Dharavi, Santa Cruz, and yeah, those are the two main ones.
To raise awareness about the responsibility that we all hold in this, addressing to this issue. Thank you.
Harvesting Pollution-Free Delhi. It is presented by the faculty and students of 11th grade FYJC Science Department, Carrie D'Souza Sir, Srishti Dubey, that is myself, and Nidhi Gupta. Okay guys, so we're well aware of the topic now, the fog harvesting, water conservation. Many people might have been aware of fog harvesting. It's like the name suggests it's better. Fog from making water from fog. Basically, this works on the normal phenomenon of vapor to liquid and liquid to solid. That is what is going to be happening here. The mesh, as you can see, just a second. The net here, when the fog in this setup is done in the hilly regions where the fog is present in a very high amount. So the fog gets attracted towards the net, and the fog turns itself into the liquid state. And as you can see in the picture itself, the water drips down towards the pipes and move towards the container, and we can see the fresh water has been formed here. By this phenomenon, we have formed our innovation and given our contribution to it by innovating smog harvesting, pollution-free Delhi.
Thank you, Srishti. Here, pollution-free Delhi. Now you may be wondering why we have taken Delhi. So we are having various cities of India. As we are seeing over here, we like to go to the vacation areas at the region like Srinagar, Manali, Kulu. Why and what is the reason behind that? So the reason is very, very clear, present over here. The air quality index is very clear over there. And the region like Delhi right now, this is the present data of Delhi, and other cities like Bhagalpur, Rajkir, etc. are having a very high air quality index. So, why Delhi, Srishti?
Why we have chosen Delhi? A very huge question. Now, Delhi is the capital of India, and secondly, Delhi has been ranked the 4th on the world's most polluted city in the world.
So here, as our today's inauguration session, we had Dr. V. Prakash Chandra Rao, who had mentioned that Hyderabad also is one of the well polluted cities of Mumbai. We had not identified the same in our PPT over here, so we had to add it over here. And now here we are going to go about with, in Delhi itself we are having, previous please. Sorry. Next. Okay. Can I have this enlarged? Okay. In Delhi, we are having all the areas which are, you can see over here that the status is not appropriate, that is unhealthy condition. Previous. Can I have this enlarged, please? The upper one. Now here with our contribution. Now we are preparing a prototype, and our prototype is something like this. Now here is Delhi, and we are knowing the reasons. I should not tell you all that why is Delhi polluted. Over here, sorry to take your time. And on the vehicle we are having something which is just like an exhaust, which is going to inhale or pull in all the air like the vacuum, and it is going to collect all the smog from the surrounding and is going to get collected within this vehicle, that is the tankers. Now you may be wondering that vehicle, tanker and vacuum is going to cost a lot of money. Not at all. We are already having our big containers, that is the water tankers as well as the oxygen cylinder like tankers, which we are going to make use of, and only the installation is going to be this upper part which we are developing or working on it, and we are going to collect all the smog, and then this vehicle is going to be taken and the content is going to be dumped as well as going to be reused for a different purpose, which I will tell you later on, but is going to be used for a different purpose and segregation etc. of all the pollutants. Now this vehicle, as we have run over here, maybe around 5,000 vehicles if I am going to have in Delhi running for around 2 to 3 days, it is going to collect all the smog. A vehicle will go, collect the smog, dump it, go, collect the smog, dump it. So one vehicle can run many trips, and we are having 5,000 vehicles if we are, and it's going to collect all the smog. Within couple of days we are having the Delhi going to be pollution free. A big thought. But we are supposed to work on it yet. With our seniors, with our PhD holders in our college, we are going to take forward this project. Anything you want to add, Srishti?
We greatly saw how the Delhi can be non-polluted and how it can end up being a non-pollutant state, and also many such places in the world this project can be taken place, and we are looking forward. We are making a prototype as well, and we will soon look up to it, putting into it work in our daily life as well someday. And yes,
students, those who have come from Bronx University, and they are all trying to help the, do the survey and get us data. Thank you so much, and very, I apologize. I had forgotten about it, but this was very important. We have to understand, because in India, we have actually never thought of these kind of technologies. In fact, this is very necessary, and these, because we lack this, and that is only polluting more. Because whenever we have to do any estimation of any kind of, if at all I have to do BO, BOD, COD, I will do with a list of chemicals making, and then we are polluting again more by means of doing these kind of an analysis. But probes and sensors, they will help us to reduce the pollution by and getting the instant data also. Thank you so much once again. Governance through the convergence means, so that easily we can bring in the corrective measures, and we would appeal again as many people can come in for the river rejuvenation projects, join with us, and wherever you are, if you can do the rejuvenation of the water bodies, that would make this day successful, and today's deliberations would be somewhere successful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
टॉपिक चेंज हो गया
some nice gift from Egypt for you and the college. Here is our principal madam, Dr. Siri Chakravarti. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind gesture.
My daughter's friend's daughter. I wish it. She has allergy. She comes to detoxify her body and get rid of allergies. And she said it's helping. Big.
This is Dr. Siti Chakravarti, Principal of Thakur College, and Dr. Sneha Londe, organizer members, presenting a gift to Dr. Randa, the chief guest for the function today. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this gracious presence, and thank you so much, ma'am, for doing the honors. Sutapa madam is the academic dean of School of Sustainability from University of Bhubaneswar, Orissa. She has come all the way to give her presentation because she felt that it's very important that she should be present in this particular conference to give us the insight about various aspects regarding the climate change. So over to you, Sutapa ma'am.
Thank you so much. I'll make a very short presentation.
Yes, sir.
And thank you so much, Madam Chakravarti, Snehal ma'am.
Please pass on.
And Neil and Paramita we have become friends now so much.
Yeah,
Paramita,
I want them to pass on.
Way you have inspired us students, and the reason for
So this is a small token of love and appreciation to Miss Rachel, who has made this morning very special to every one of us. She is from the US Consulate. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, ma'am, to do the honors. We are highly indebted to you for your gracious presence this morning with us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gaurav Das Prabhu, Dr. Neer, and Dr. Paramita. That was a wonderful session. We could see that greenery amongst us over here. Looking at the video only, we have been taken over there. I think we are the Honorable Governor of State of Maharashtra, who has addressed this particular conference and given his best wishes for the fruitful conclusion of this conference. And now we are going to invite Mr. Veermala Prakash Rao, the Chairman of Telangana Water Resource Development Corporation, Telangana from India, who is going to join us online and going to deliver the speech. May I kindly request Priya Francis Madam to give his introduction so that we are aware that what is the authority we are discussing with. So may I request Priya Ma'am?
Thank you, sir. Mr. Veermala Prakash Rao, known as Telangana Prakash, sir is an advocate, writer and co-founder of Telangana Rashtra Samiti. He is a political advisor to the Chief Minister of Telangana and Chairman of Telangana Water Resources Development Corporation. Sir is considered as an expert on the irrigation sector and policy making. Sir has shown interest and worked with several students in radical students and revolutionary movements across the years. Sir has spent several years in working for the people, for the young, and also providing financial assistance from Government of India to run night schools for adult illiterate people. Sir has worked with eminent academicians and revolutionized the world of law, legal and policy making. Sir is an extremely wonderful person, a very dynamic, strong advocate and co-founder of Telangana Rashtra Samiti Regional Party in India. We welcome Veermala Prakash Rao sir for his remarks.
Almost case everywhere in every state, and after COVID-19 situation we have seen that the environment knows how to rejuvenate itself. Somewhere we have been blocked inside our houses and the environment got rejuvenated. So it's an alarming signal for every one of us that we should be aware that how we are going to do this. So thank you so much everyone, and thank you so much Rao sir. Now we are going to listen to Mr. Gaurang Das Prabhu, who is from the Govardhan Eco Village under the concept of Bhakti Vedanta Research Center. And sir is going to do a PPT presentation, but before that, I'll request Priya madam to give his brief introduction so that we all are aware that what kind of stalwarts are addressing today morning in this conference. By that time, may I request sir to please have a seat on the dais.
Mr. Gauranga Das Prabhu is a leadership and mindfulness coach based in Mumbai. A graduate of IIT Bombay, Sir found his calling to become a monk to serve our society. A member of ISKCON's governing body commission, Sir is actively involved in enhancing leadership effectiveness and governance of temples and communities globally. Sir is dedicated to helping people transform their hearts, improve their attitudes, establish sustainable and spiritual communities, drive positive change in the society. Sir is a multifaceted spiritualist on a mission to create value-based society. Sir is a mindful meditation expert, strategic character educationist, sustainability and climate change warrior, and social welfare catalyst. Sir has done wonders in this area, being a director of ISKCON's Govardhan Eco Village, founded by Radhanath Swami. Govardhan Eco Village, representing India, has won over 36 national and international awards, including the United Nations World Tourism Organization Award in the year 2017 for its innovative model of ecotourism as a catalyst for rural development. Sir has strategically led and executed and planned for Govardhan Eco Village synergistic solution for sustainable development goals for climate change and enabled accreditation to multiple United Nations bodies. Sir, we are blessed to have you here with your gracious presence. May I now welcome Mr. Gauranga Das.
What she thinks about this particular conference and how we are going to meet up with that. Dr. Anja, but before that, I'll request Priya madam to do the honors to give a small introduction of Dr. Anja.
Dr. Randa Mahmood, ma'am please. Devoted her entire career to the development of society through her 20 years of professional and diverse experience. She holds several positions in several government and foreign organizations such as Cultural Attaché and Head of Education Mission at Doha, CSR Advisor in Private Sectors, Consultant for Development Program at United Nations, National Coordinator for Plan International Egypt for the closure event. Ma'am has been a member with several organizations, media outreach consultant at the Ministry of Social Solidarity and supervisor on care and social development in several international organizations such as UNICEF, WFP, Save the Children organization, and advisor in some of the government ministries such as Ministries of Supplies, Internal Trade, Head of Cultural Development and Fund Management Committee. Dr. Randa, we are glad to have you with us today this afternoon and would love to listen to you. Dr. Randa, please take up the session. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my excellency, my colleagues, my students. Thank you very much, Prameta, to invite me to be in very prestigious event today. Really, I appreciate, and I was very happy to be in the Takir College, Science and Commerce College. It's a good opportunity. It's a huge opportunity to working together, especially now we have 3 regions and 3 countries, different countries: Egypt, India, USA. Really, I'm very happy to be here. Maybe my speech not involved in how the climate change, but I want to ask, where are you going in COP28 after this climate change event?
That's a nice gesture where we are seeing the amalgamation of the cultures across the country.
It's great to have friends like this, Rhonda. She's an asset and will work on many initiatives of climate change. And for our PV students and also
Date fly over,
we have
dates.
sweets from Egypt.
Dates.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Vijay sir, please come up on the dais. He is a representative from Thakur College of Science and Commerce on behalf of the principal. He is the Dean Faculty of Science. Thank you so much, ma'am. This is the original hand painting from Egypt, what is been presented to Thakur College of Science and Commerce. Very, very precious.